7 must-knows to successfully quit with hypnosis. Hi, I'm Guy from Quit in 60 Minutes, hypnotherapist, stop smoking specialist. 7 things you need to know. Well, you could say 7 key questions that you're going to need to ask if you're considering doing hypnotherapy to stop smoking. Whether it's cigarettes or vapes, it's really effective, or it can be. Now, you need to know this because if you're planning on doing hypnosis either for the first time or trying it again, you need to make sure that you have the best likelihood of getting success, right? Obviously, there's no guarantee that any quit smoking aid is going to work for you, but what you can do is some research to increase the chances and stack the odds in your favor to find out what's going to be best for you and what's going to be a successful approach. So please watch this video to the end because I've been in this industry for a long time and I know what you need to know. So the first thing to ask is, ask the therapist. Number 1, ask the therapist, is it a program or just a session? Now, hypnotherapy is extremely powerful in instantly changing negative behaviors, especially smoking or vaping or drinking, whatever. But it has to be embedded in a process and not just a quick session. People email me and ask me, oh, how much is a session? Like you're going to go and get a pedicure or a quick massage, come in and rub your shoulders and magically you feel great. Giving up smoking is really hard. So you have to be in the correct mind state. So it's a good idea to get some preparation. So that leads me to question number 2. Ask them, is there any preparation? What do I need to do beforehand before I come in and get the session? Because the hypnosis should be done in 3 stages. Well, it's not just the hypnosis. The hypnosis session itself is only going to take 60 minutes, but there needs to be a beginning, a mental preparation to have your conscious mind on side with what you want to do. And then there needs to be some post-hypnosis follow-up, because things happen in life where bad stuff happens, you get stressed out and you would normally reach for a cigarette to handle that situation. So believe it or not, successful hypnosis is all about the preparation and lead up. So you can sit in the chair and have the hypnosis session, but your conscious mind needs to be on board, because a lot of people think that when you're hypnotized that you go into some deep trance state and only the subconscious is affected and you'll wake up and not remember anything and just be a different person. It's more like the opposite is true. Your conscious mind is just sitting there, and it tends to be the dominant side of the brain that says, if someone says, oh, that color's black, and someone says, no, that color's gray, and you look at it and you go, no, it's definitely black. That's your conscious mind looking up resources in the subconscious, going, that's that, and that's how it is, and there's no argument here. So it's like the bouncer, the gatekeeper. So we need to pacify the gatekeeper and have it on board before moving into any hypnosis session to get the best results. Number 3, ask about the follow-up. So what is your follow-up process? Are you even going to give me any follow-up, or you just take my money, give me hypnosis, and then see you later, it worked? Because it does, it works. But I would say at least 98% of people that I've spoken to about hypnosis, if they've had it before, and I ask about, did you get a follow-up session? Did they give you a call and say, hey, how's it going? And And the answer is no. So the reason that most hypnotists don't do that is they're confident that the job's done. You're hypnotized. You're now a non-smoker. And if you screw it up, that's entirely your fault. And to a degree it is. But you would think that good customer service would be making sure and giving you the support to make sure that you don't relapse. Otherwise, you've wasted your money and it doesn't look good on the person who's supposed to be caring for you and working through this with you. And that's the way I do things. I like to have people on board, be a coach with them and guide them through the process, and to make sure and be a great program to stop you smoking. So number 4, ask about support tools. Is the therapist going to help you and make sure that you have tools in place to help you continue to stop smoking so there's no relapse? You need to sit there with your therapist in the pre-session stage. They need to know about your lifestyle. What are your triggers? Have you got a cranky boss, a stressful job? Are you going to have the boss that calls you up and says, hey, before you go home today, I need to see you in my office? Are you going to stress about that? Are you going to think it's going to be a negative experience? Would that normally cause you to have a cigarette? What are you going to do when that situation comes up again? And it will, because life's tough, man. What support mechanisms are there for you to lean on? Some deep breathing, some yoga techniques, some thought processes, vagus nerve resets. These are all things that we can integrate to make sure that you get your trigger under control and stay a non-smoker. Number 5, ask them, are they a specialist or a generalist? Now, one way to easily find out is just ask them, do you do other hypnotherapy things like weight loss, anxiety, phobias? Oh, yeah, I can help you give up gambling and drinking and all that kind of thing. So when you go to see a GP and you've got a problem with a particular organ or your eyesight or whatever it is, generally that GP is going to say, well, I'm going to write you a referral to a specialist. So it's a bit like you got a car problem, say it's your gearbox, you take your car to the mechanic goes, yeah, no worries, we'll take that out and we'll send it to the gearbox specialist. Why wouldn't you go directly to the specialist? I've been a hypnotist for over 20 years. I don't use a cookie cutter approach. I use multiple techniques. It's simply not just hypnosis. I use neuro-linguistic programming, binaural beats, self-actuated vagus nerve reset systems to dampen the cravings and triggers, and several different psychological approaches, herbal and dietary supplements, and a few little dietary changes can dampen the cravings. Did you know, like going out and having a sugary binge or, a good carb-heavy meal is going to make you feel like a cigarette. So there's things that you can integrate into your lifestyle that can help you remain a non-smoker and not put on the weight and be a better overall human being, to be able to learn how to handle anxiety without a crutch. Famous martial artist Bruce Lee once said, I do not fear the man who knows 10,000 kicks, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. Number 6 question to ask before committing. Just ask them, what's your success rate? You need to go one step further. They're probably going to say, oh, yeah, look, it's 99%, 95%. How do they get to that figure? because in my experience, knowing a lot of hypnotist guys, girls, basically they do the session, flick your business card, say thanks for coming, that's great, you're now a non-smoker, and never hear from them again. And a lot of those results are measured exactly like that. Basically, you got it, you walked out the door, you're done, that's success. But they're not really going to know unless they follow up and make sure that you remain a non-smoker. And that's really important aftercare. Last one, 7. The final thing you really need to know is about the guarantee. Now, there's no guarantee that anyone's going to quit. But if you've got to ask what they mean by guarantee, I can guarantee 100% control over the fact that I can see you again, and what's included in the program is a free relapse session if it happens in the future. As long as I'm alive, mentally and physically capable of doing it, you get that freebie, and that's for the lifetime. A lot of hypnotists are bringing that on board and saying, yeah, look, you get a 3-month warranty. If you relapse in 3 months, come back and I will do it again, and stronger hypnosis. Well, that's great, because a lot of times you look at your bank account 3 months down the track and you discover that all of a sudden you've got a lot of money because you didn't spend it all on cigarettes and vapes. So you take a holiday and you go off to an inexpensive holiday like Thailand or Bali, and you go out having a few drinks, and then you say to yourself, if I had a cigarette with this beer, that would be really good. And it would only be one, and it wouldn't matter. So, you buy a pack and you go, well, what am I going to do with these? You continue to smoke in the nighttime and say, well, I'm going to give it up in the morning. But then guess what? You wake up and you have a coffee and you go, damn, a cigarette would be really good with this coffee right now. It's okay. I'll give up when I get back to Sydney. And then guess what happens? You're hooked again. So that's why it's really important to have that support. It's only going to not work because you've had a major stress event, you've gotten a bit tipsy, and alcohol affects people in that way that they don't make good choices. And deciding to have a cigarette would not be a good choice. So yes, you have that extra session there in case you need it. So these are the things that you want to make sure are in place before you invest your time and your hard-earned money. Because here's the thing, if you haven't found someone that ticks all of those boxes, you know what? It wouldn't matter what they charge. Because sometimes the most important and first question that I get from people is, how much is it going to cost? But here's the thing, if none of those boxes are ticked with the hypnotherapist, what difference does it make how cheap it is? If it's $100 or $200 or $300, if it doesn't work, you're going to walk out and start smoking again and going, it's $100, I can go do it again. But what happens is you have diminishing returns. If you go and do that, you go, it only cost a couple of $100. I can just do it again. It's not as effective the second time round because you're wearing it thin. You get immune to it. It's like violence in video games or, violent TV shows or a movie. You see something extremely violent the first time, it's really shocking, but then you desensitize to it. And that's the same with hypnosis. You can become desensitized. So you want to find someone that ticks all the boxes, be 100% dedicated to it, do the mental preparation beforehand, and I help you with that, then do the session, and then do the relaxation exercises and those things that you've set in place to make sure you remain a non-smoker. And then you're a non-smoker forever. So you're going to save a lot of money in the end. Because if you haven't found someone that's ticked all the boxes, you may as well just throw your money in the gutter. Whereas if all those boxes are ticked, you can pretty well be sure that you're going to be seeing someone who is more likely to get you the result that you want. Because you'll be as confident as ever that you found someone that actually is going to back you and help you get that done. So it's worth mentioning that maybe a one-off session and none of the boxes ticked can actually work for some people, but that process is only likely to work for a very small number of people. So if you want to find a process that's going to work for you and as many people as possible, that would be the one. So I hope that this little video has helped you. If you want to know more about my processes, please feel free to reach out. I'd love to have a chat with you. Good luck on your journey, and it's worth the effort, it really is, for your health and your money. This is Guy from Quit in 60 Minutes.